What's up, folks? This is your favorite sorcerer with a new video. And this video is going to be called Capstones of the Occult Part 2. Power only respects power. Okay. Now, this video series, I don't know if you watched the first one. If not, you should go back and watch the first video that I did in this video series. But quick explanation. This video series is called Capstones of the Occult. Why capstone? Because any field of knowledge, any field of wisdom is pyramidal. Okay, pyramidal means that it is hierarchical. And when you look at a pyramid, the top is a capstone. Yeah? The top 20% of any field of knowledge allow you to dominate, control, and apply the remaining 80%. Without those 20%, and even if you have all of the 80%, you will not be able to make the 80% work. You see, one of the common, and not just when it comes to the occult, but one of the common mistakes and wrong approaches that are being used out there is people study and try to apply the bottom 80%, you see. However, they will not be able to make them work if they don't have the capstone, the top, you see. So this lecture series, you know, the video blogs are going to be between maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Is supposed to give you lots and lots and lots of these capstones. Of course, I don't know if I'm going to be able to give you all of them, right? But I probably shouldn't give you all of them because there's something that you, of course, will get extra as you become a student of mine. This is never, because that is my vicious intention. You see, my vicious intention is to give you a sneak and peek, a taste of what you get when you become my student. And my intention is to make you one of my students, right? And then one of the programs that I have, and you know, coachings, consultations, whatever, all of that you can find in the links below this video. Okay. Now, with that being said, let's go into today's video, which is, power only respects power. And I'll tell you how I came up with that title, you see. There's a saying in French, which is la puissance ne respecte que la puissance, which means power only respects power, which is, you know, relevant in many contexts, right? And very well in magic as well. Okay, let me try to explain that. See, it is important that we understand that what we're attempting to do with magic, what we're doing with magic, you know, a lot of us do that on a daily basis. We want to change the external physical world, the physical reality, through energetic and mental changes that we do within ourselves. Now, that's a big deal. I'm sure you agree. Now, what is causing these changes to happen? Well, what I can tell you for sure is it is not the normal Homo sapiens type of figure and person and identity that is doing magic, you see? Now, you can call that transcending the ego, but if I say ego, people are going to misunderstand that, and they're going to be like, I don't know, the Jesus approach. You know, Jesus, you know, drop your ego, you know, give the other cheek. That's not what is meant by that. Okay, you have a physical body, and as a physical body, somebody that possesses a physical body, we are part of the animal kingdom. Yeah, humans are part of the animal kingdom. We're just another predator. Okay, how do you know we're predators? Predators' eyes look ahead. Okay, we also, our hands are basically, they're there to kill, to destroy, and to eat. You see what I mean? And to use tools, of course, right? I mean, that's one of the main advantages that we have. We can create tools, okay? But there's no doubt, regardless of what you think, there's no doubt that in the animal kingdom, we are predators, yeah? And that is the biological, you know, function. There's man as an animal, but there's also a part of us that transcends that, which is our divine spark, right? And when we do esoteric practices, when we do magic and all of that, we develop that divine spark and core until we can fully transcend physical existence, right? But as we are here, it is foolish to deny this predatory truth, okay? We are the most dangerous species on this planet. There's no doubt about it, right? Now, in order to cause magic, like I said, you need to transcend the ego, at least for the duration of the ritual. But that has little to do with changing your, let's say your approach to physical existence, you know? Now, of course, as your self develops and as your understanding of the universe develops, yes, it will have all kinds of implications on your lifestyle choices and in how you look at the world, of course. But I'm talking about the pure ritualistic practice here, okay? So as you do your rituals, it is necessary so that for you to be able to have magical influence, that you transcend the awareness of self and become aware of your greater beingness, greater awareness, okay? And that greater awareness is part of a larger consciousness field. When you go into these states of awareness or the states of consciousness, it feels like you are almost not aware of your physical body anymore, and you transcend that awareness, you become one with an energy field that is flowing through all physicality, but is also transcending it and goes beyond it, beyond space, time. And it's, if you never experienced it, it's a little hard to describe, but it is literally a timeless existence. That's what it feels like, okay? Those of you who have, who maybe do yoga, who have a meditation practice and all of that, you might have reached states like that. You know, things that approach samadhi. This is the prerequisite from where you can do, where you can have magical influence, right? Because then at that point your awareness is matching this field of consciousness, and that field of consciousness is connected to everybody. So everybody's in your reach at that point, okay? So the one of the first steps in your ritual in order to make magic work is to transcend the self-awareness and to merge with what they call the godhead, okay? Depending on what tradition you work in. I mean, Hermeticists will call it the godhead, all right? Or their holy guardian angel, yeah? Now, when you have reached that awareness, which is actually not that hard, okay? It takes practice, it takes work on yourself, it takes energy work. I mean, it's probably wrong to have a general statement here, to make a general statement, because it will depend on the individual. Some people are more advanced from former lives. Some people naturally bring a lot of the prerequisites with them. Others will have to work longer, okay? And let me tell you that being talented is not always an advantage, you know, because I tell you what, if somebody is not that talented, in order to get to a level where they can make this work, they will have to develop discipline and work, which will serve them way, way better later on, because the person that has, you know, talent but does not develop the discipline is not going to go as far, you see. So don't be discouraged if you feel like you don't have talent and it's a lot of work for you, because you will profit from the discipline that you put in the beginning later on, yeah? So there is a sort of like an occult law, occult secret that it works like this. The more subtle, the more powerful. Rather, the subtle worlds dominate and control the more coarse or the more dense worlds, you could say. Yeah? Easy example. What is the most powerful thing in the world? Okay, people will tell you, well, it's maybe tanks, maybe weapons, maybe armies, maybe money, and all of these things. Well, money is not a physical thing anyways, right? But it is actually none of these things. The most powerful thing that exists, or one of the most powerful things, is philosophies and ideas. Yeah, philosophies, ideas, religions, those structure human consciousness, and they allow human groups to organize under them, you see. And the invention of a religion can, determine the course of history for, millennia, whereas a weapon is not necessarily going to be able to do that, okay? And you can see that throughout history, there are different lenses that you can take on to interpret history, right? But the one that is most accurate, in my opinion, is the lens of ideas, philosophies, and religions. They determine the course of history more than anything else, yeah? Regardless of that, what comes out of the more subtle structures and frames what happens in the more physical realm, okay? Let me give you another example. When you got an egg and a sperm, yeah? At first it merges into one cell, okay? And then that cell develops. Every single cell in this amalgamation of cells has the same genetic information, yeah? But as it develops and as it grows, the different cells separate themselves into, let's say, skin cells, okay? Cells that form bone structures, hands, nails, hair, how does that work, You might say chemical gradients. Okay, gradients is basically a chemical difference between one area and another. You could say that determines how the DNA expresses itself in one part of the organism and versus in another part. But that is not a sufficient explanation because, first of all, we're talking about a 3D individual here, okay? All the way until the baby is born, right? And then it goes on. The growth continues, right? Even after the baby is born. So how does that work? Well, what is actually at work there? What determines the physical expression and the chemical reactions, the epigenetics, all of it is determined by an information field. That is called the morphogenetic field, okay? Morphogenetic fields are non-physical information fields that determine how the genetic information is expressed, okay? So every living organism, before it exists as a finished product, has an invisible energetic and information blueprint around it that is just being filled up by the physical material, okay? Right? Another example, if you don't believe that, like, you contain of the food that you ate some time ago, right? All of your cells are, your entire body is essentially food that you ate some time ago, right? How does that work? Think about it, okay? So it's not just material, it's not just minerals and molecules and all the stuff that you eat. You eat information as well, or rather your body contains an energy field that also has information in it, and it determines what happens with the stuff inside of the energy field. Yeah? So the more subtle controls what happens in the more dense, And what you have to keep in mind is that the size of the idea, once again, is another power factor on the other side. Yeah? So the common mistake that magicians do when they work with demons and spirits, for instance, is they project things onto these beings that are not really accurate. You see, in order to really have a successful work with a spirit, whether it be a demon, angel, spirit, and all of that, you have to perceive yourself as senior, as master over the force that you're about to command. And for that, you cannot operate as a Homo sapiens, okay? You and I are, no matter how strong you think you are physically, you are weak, including myself. It's pretty easy to kill me, okay? Pretty easy to kill me. I can be hurt very, very easily, okay? Just we're like, this body is a body of flesh and blood. It can be damaged very easily. It doesn't take that much. So what makes an immortal, almost omnipotent force obey my command? Well, it does not obey my command. It obeys the command of the Godhead, you see. So if you go into, when you go into a ritual as the magician, you have to transform the self inside of the ritual. You need to become the Godhead, and in the ritual, you need to have this awareness, and you need to speak with the full authority of the cosmos. You know, this is also, I mean, this is also connected to the you know, the symbology of the magical circle. You know, you are in the center of the circle. As such, you are in the center of your magical universe. So you, at the center of existence, create a new energetic blueprint that will then spread out into all of existence and bring about a new physical reality that you wanted. And the demon, or the angel at that point, is just an emissary of your will. But your will is the will of the creator. It is no longer Susie, Jason, Frank. It is, you become the creator. And as the creator, you can do that. Now, this is not make-believe. You can't just act and do that, okay? I mean, in fact, in order to call the spirit in the first place, you will have to be in that state. You see? Now, of course, the demons often, they have an act for testing you. So they're going to appear in a form that they know your psyche is afraid of. Okay, let's say you have a problem with spiders, snakes, and all that stuff. That's the very thing that's the very form the demon's going to take on to kick you out of that state, you see? To kick you out of this feeling of being the Godhead, the feeling of omnipotence. But this is why we meditate. This is why we train our, you know, you can call it equanimity, right? The awareness, or the ability to stay in expanded awareness no matter what goes on around you, which is, you know, also related to the stability of the energy body, of course, right? But that would lead too far right now. So the key is this: la puissance ne respecte que la puissance, which means power only respects power. If you want to command a non-physical force, if you want to command a demon or an angel that is lurking in the collective unconscious and is spread out throughout the entire cosmos, then you need to become the Godhead. How do you do that? This is why we have exercises. This is why we have exercises of meditation. That's why we have exercises of energy work. This is why we do a lot of trance work, you see? This is why. Good. Now, I hope that was helpful. I hope I explained it well. This was number 2 of Capstones of the Occult. And I see you in the next one. Peace.